This experiment has to do with sand. Obviously, sand could be an earth science explanation. I've called it a physical science explanation because we're going to change the texture of the sand, which is a physical science phenomenon. Now, this is some sand that came out of just sand like you might put in a sandbox, or you might have around your house for some reason. And then this is kinetic sand. Kinetic sand, to me anyway, is a fairly new phenomenon, but you can buy it in the store in all kinds of sizes. This one I got for $5 at Five Below. Again, I'm not endorsing any company or any product, just that it's a way to do that. You can see on the picture of the box that you can take kinetic sand and mold it, as opposed to regular sand is much harder to do. You're going to have to add water, and I don't know about you making sand castles on the beach, but it was always hard for me to get them to stay together. Kinetic sand has a different quantity. You can make your own, and in the book that we're providing for you with all the information gives you the recipe for kinetic sand, and what it does is it adds cornstarch to the kinetic sand. Now, I'm going to get out a little piece of this, and you can sort of see that it is just a totally different structure than regular sand. And to me, it's very therapeutic to use, but it's the change when we've added that cornstarch, or the company may add some other product besides cornstarch, but if you make your own, you use cornstarch. And the texture is much different, the way it feels is much different, and obviously the way the molecules hold together is much different. It's also sort of interesting to see what happens when you put it in water. Obviously, if I put sand in water, it's going to go straight to the bottom. If I stir it up a little bit, it would eventually go back. Again, that has to do with states of matter, has to do with colloids and emulsions, those kinds of things, which would also be science experiments. But if you add kinetic sand to this water, you can see that lightly it's beginning to float a little bit, but see, it still stays in clumps. Instead of mixing with the water, it stays in clumps. So an interesting phenomenon, an interesting idea about textures, about molecule structure, all sorts of things that would have to do with earth science and science itself.